Is it on? Well, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the organizing team, I want to welcome all of you tonight to Hamtramck Candidates Forum. I want to begin by sharing that this forum is not being organized by any particular organization. It is the result of the ad hoc group of volunteers from across the community representing many different sectors, backgrounds, and experience. We will come together for the shared goal of helping our residents make informed decisions. Thank you all the candidates for being here with us, and then the space limitation, we try to organize it based on the responses we received. Thank you all for showing up, and hopefully we'll have enough time to hear from all of you and all of your plans. We are here because Hamtramck matters, local leadership matters, and an informed, engaged community matters. Before we begin, I would like to thank all of the volunteers, community members, supporters, and sponsors for helping us making this event happen. At this time, I would like to invite our board member, Mansoor Al-Jahim, to welcome the community.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of the committee, we warmly welcome you all to this event. We are here today to listen to each other. We're going to listen from our candidate. We're going to ask questions, listen to them, their plan. We wish to all of them a good luck. We welcome you all once again. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just want to acknowledge the committee members. And if you raise your hand, that would be great. Sheikh Yasir, Imam Islamic Center of Hamtramck. Mrs. Frances Sims, Commissioner, Hamtramck Housing Commission. Mansoor Al-Jahim, Secretary, Iman Islamic Complex. Adnan Joba, Hamtramck Community Initiative. And everybody knows him, he's also the owner of lots of businesses around here. Rebecca Islam, Director, APIA, she's traveling today, she could not be here with us. George Kirchner, Gregory Kirchner, Hamtramck Public Library, he's on the camera as well, thank you. Syed Khan, APIA, Michigan. Salim Lodi, member, Hamtramck Community. He's sitting right over here. And also our volunteer, you want to tell me your name? Riyad Goba, he will be the timekeeper. So at this point, I want to hand it over to our MCs. The two MCs, Syed Khan and Ms. Sims. So Syed Khan will take the next step.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening everyone. Before we start, I want to just go over the structure and the program we have in place so everyone knows what to expect. Starting things off, we're going to have the introductions by the candidates. They'll each have 3 minutes to introduce themselves. If it was me, I would do my best to give your elevator pitch right now. Right? After that, we'll have general questions that we've collected over a period of time, online, from in-person, speaking with people and individuals that can be suited for any one of the candidates. So it will just go in a random, it will go in this order, but the questions will be random, but they will be general, meaning that anyone should be able to answer them. After that, we will have specific questions that the audience may have to ask for the candidates here. We're collecting them as we're speaking right now. If you have a question, please get that form from the back and fill it out and give it to us so we can review and share that. We request everyone's phones to be on silent, on vibrate. We don't want to have any disruptions. I'm requesting the candidates on the platform here to please respect Rayan for his timekeeping because it's going to be important, right? We've organized the time. It looks very nice on there. I understand if you have to speak maybe a few seconds or more, but we want to be fair to everybody, so try to stick to the actual time given. Towards the end, we will have a specific segment just for the mayoral candidates. Just for the mayoral candidates. So if the mayoral candidates are not getting too many questions at the beginning, it's because you have your own segment towards the end to be addressed. But at the beginning, we will have, again, like I mentioned, the general questions to go over. That will be a 20-minute segment towards the end. When you're giving a question, you will have 1 minute to answer. For the candidates, 1 minute to answer for the general questions. Does anyone have any other questions at the moment? With that, I'll ask Ms. Francis to come on the podium, please. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. With that, we are inviting each of our candidates to introduce themselves. Please remember you have 3 minutes to speak to the public. And we'd like to start with the first candidate to my right. If you could introduce yourself, speak, and then pass the microphone down.
Hi, good evening. My name is Joe Strzelka. I'm running for Hamtramck City Council. I'm running for council because I think, like many people, I've seen a lot of improvements in the city in the last 30 years that I've lived on Jacob Street. I've owned my Jacob Street home. But I think recently, a lot of people believe that Hamtramck's at a crossroads, and I'm a little concerned about the direction we're going. I've heard this from a number of people that live in the city, people who want to invest in the city, and people interested in buying homes. A lot of them are a little reluctant at the moment. So I'm hoping I hope that you would vote for me and that it would provide some stability in City Hall. Just a little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's, master's of science degree from Michigan State University. I have law degrees from Wayne State. I have a varied work history. Probably most significant, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Guatemala. This was during the Civil War, almost 40 years ago now. I was also a research scientist for Dole Fresh Fruit in Honduras. I worked as a lead inspector for the state of Michigan that would be doing enforcing environmental rules and regulations dealing with pesticides. And I was on the city council for 3 years, at which point I had to resign because I was hired by the U.S. State Department, where I worked for the last 20 years for the Department of State. My embassy experience, I was a diplomat. I managed the administrative platform, so essentially I kept the lights on, the embassy running. So I was kind of a behind-the-scenes guy. I did the budgeting, the financing, the purchasing, the contracting, so all things very relevant to the city government. Mostly I had to make sure that services were provided efficiently and under some very difficult conditions. I'd like to thank the sponsors and thank all of you for coming here. I look forward to talking over the next 2 hours, meeting you more, and hoping to convince you that where they want to vote. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mubarak Pavel. I'm a Hamtramck resident for 27 years. Currently, I'm a Hamtramck housing commissioner, and I am a business owner as well. I am a former Secretary General of the YBAT for 3 years and Secretary General for the American Bank for 3 years. And I am a candidate for Hamtramck City Council. And I think I can make a difference at the City Council from me working with City Council and the Hamtramck government and I know what's going on inside the city, and I know the problems that this residents face and what they need, and I want to make sure that they be treated the way they deserve, and I want to make sure that everyone in the city be treated equally and fairly. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Adam Al-Harbi, and I'm running to be your next mayor. I've owned businesses, and I've been an engineer. I've been in business in the city for over 20 years. I worked with many contractors and architects for so many contracting architects, and I know what it takes to run city projects. I've worked with many CFOs and accountants, so I know how to look at the financial statement and look at the income and expenses for the city. I've worked with many attorneys, so I'll know how to handle legal issues. I've worked with many web developers and designers, so I know how to improve the city systems and platforms. Like I said, I'm a bit of a business owner, so I know how to improve also city services to where everybody's welcomed and they're treated with respect and equal. I've participated, been a member of city commissions such as the DDA and the zoning board, and I've worked with many city council members and department heads, so I know how the city hall works and how to improve it. Also, I've been a lifelong resident of Hamtramck. My family lives here, my siblings live here, my friends all live here, so no one cares about the city more than me. And that's why I'm running. I'm not running to just lead a city council meeting or to vote yes or no, but rather to implement real solid goals and deliver real results that will improve our city and improve the services for all residents. So I ask that you vote for me based on qualifications, experience, and based on who lives and loves our city. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ahmed Musa. I'm a councilman, current councilman. I'm running again for the re-elect. I live in 11441 Mitchell Street, Hamtramck. It is 13 years I live in Michigan. 1996 I came from Bangladesh and started to New York and New Jersey. Since 2011, end of the 10, I moved in Michigan and started in 10632 Gallup. From there I became first councilman. From there,
You can pass them.
From there, I became a councilman end of 2014. Since there, I'm serving my community with love, respect, and patience. And this time, I'm running again. The reason, our beloved Mayor Amir Gali, he made the tremendous change the city of Hamtramck to get the next level. And I'm the part of those journey. And I like to be fulfilled and finish this journey to smoothly and more prosper for the city and make the Hamtramck fast. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you to the organizers, my fellow candidates, and all of you here today for caring about the future of our city. My name is Khan Hussain, and I'm running for the mayor because I believe Hamtramck deserves leadership that listens, acts, and includes every voice. Not just during election season, but every day. I've lived here in this city for over 27 years. I've seen its challenges up close, from pothole and public safety to housing, economic opportunity, but I've also seen its strength, our diversity, our resilience, and our deep sense of community. I'm not here to make empty promises. I'm here because I believe leadership means service, It means rolling up your sleeves, showing up for people, and getting things done with transparency, with fairness, and with heart. Thank you, and I look forward to today's discussion.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Doing good? Okay. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you to the committee and to my fellow candidates. My name is Diane Elizabeth Birkin, and yes, that is how my last name is spelled. If you would like to buy a vowel, I'm selling them. And I am running for Hamtramck City Council. I was born in New York and raised right here on the Detroit-Hamtramck border. I've been a proud resident of Hamtramck for many years, and I deeply believe in the potential of our city and the power of its diversity. I come from a multicultural household, Eastern European and Middle Eastern. My stepdad is Lebanese. Bismillah, Rahman Rahim. I always say this when I go driving. And with Hamtramck's rich mix of cultures is something that I truly love. I believe our city deserves leadership that reflects and respects every resident. Professionally, I bring over 30 years of experience in administration, sales, marketing, retail, and management. I've worked both corporate and small business settings, which has taught me how to manage budgets, build relationships, and solve problems. Skills that directly translate to city council work. I graduated from Oak University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, where I was actively involved in student government, student newspaper, and I'm a proud member of Alpha Delta Pi, a collegiate sorority that taught me the values of community, sisterhood, and philanthropy. Values I carried with me every day. Early in my career, I worked as a journalist for a business out of a newspaper covering local city council meetings. That gave me firsthand insight into how city government works and how important transparency, accountability, and thoughtful leadership truly are. I'm running because I care about people and I care about the city. And I'm a little nervous right here. I want to bring a fresh perspective, a strong work ethic, and open, honest communication to City Council, but I am not a politician. I am your neighbor. And I'm someone who loves Hamtramck, and I want to serve. I'm ready to show up, speak up, and stand up for this community, We deserve leadership that is responsible, transparent, and compassionate, and that listens to the residents. Includes everyone and puts in the real work to make things happen, and it's time for change. If elected, my priorities will center on listening to the residents. Together, we can build a stronger city, one that honors its immigrant roots while embracing progress and opportunity for all. I'm not here to make empty promises. I'm here to work and to make sure that every voice in Hamtramck is heard. Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. I respectfully ask for your support, and I look forward to serving the city. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank to the organizers to organize this such a wonderful event, and I want to thank all of you who participated today, including all the candidates. My name is Rezaul Chowdhury. I live in Hamtramck since 2014 with my wife Saida, my son Ehsan, my daughter Noreen, and youngest son Rafsan. I finished my education in Bangladesh with a Bachelor of Law degree from Chittagong University of Bangladesh. I migrated to the United States in 2000. I did work with bank. I worked in restaurant management and property development. But currently I am working with a non-profit organization which works throughout the Michigan, especially in Detroit, Hamtramck, and Highland Park. And I'm working as a community engagement specialist there. While I'm working with a non-profit, I am making connection with a lot of people in our neighborhood. I hear their concerns, I feel their pain, I live here with them, and in everyday life, I know what Hamtramck's residents need. A lot of times, I brought these issues to the city of Hamtramck, elected officials and the city employees, and most of the time, it didn't work. So I want to see, first of all, then why it is not working, and how I can help to make it happen. We don't have budget to fix our alleys or our road potholes because we don't have money. But my understanding is almost every house is occupied, almost all business are running, and we are collecting taxes. Where this tax money is going? I want to see this. And that's why I need to be in the city of Hamtramck. I want to bring the community people's voice to Hamtramck. Another thing I see, we have 4 major communities in Hamtramck: Yemeni, Bangladeshi, Polish, black communities, and they are all separated. They don't go together and don't work together to make this city happy and prosperous. So my goal will be to bring all this community together and make the Hamtramck beautiful, prosperous, and very happy city. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to all. My name is Muhid Mahmoud, and I currently serve as the councilman for the city of Hamtramck. I'm running for mayor because I believe in public service that puts people first, especially working families, seniors, immigrants, and everyone who help keep the city going. Like many of you, I work hard, raised my family here, and stood by our community through tough times. I'm not here with fancy promises. I'm here with a proven record, a clear vision, and a heart committed to every resident of Hamtramck. Together we can build a safer, more affordable, and more united city. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm ready to listen, answer your question, and earn your support. Thank you.
So right now we're going to go into the general questions, and we're just going to go down the road. Again, these questions are applicable for everyone.
No.
We'll just start right here with Joseph, if that's okay.
Sure.
Again, these questions are random, but the order will be like this. The first question is about, Francis and I, we will alternate asking the questions. Joseph, are you familiar with the city charter and duties performed by individuals elected to the office that you are seeking for?
That's it. Yes, well, I've read the city charter a number of times. I haven't committed it to memory, but yes, I'm somewhat familiar. I believe the city council, the primary responsibility of the city council is really, it's the powers in the budget and the finance. So that will end up being my focus. But to answer your question, yes, I have read the charter a number of times. I am familiar with it.
Can you repeat the question?
No, different questions.
Different question.
Oh, okay.
Do you think the streets of Hamtramck are currently safe, and what do you propose to make them safer?
I think they are safe, up to a point, but we can make them safer by working along with the Hamtramck Police Department, also the Citizen Patrol, and I believe we are safer than surrounding cities, especially safer than Detroit. And we're going to work together, with residents, police department, and also the city council and city officials to make sure that streets are safe and, good environment for everyone.
The next question. The parking meters on Joseph Campo have been a slightly controversial issue. What is your opinion regarding the parking meters?
Good question. That's been an issue that I've been advocating to correct, because to my understanding, because I'm a member of the DDA, about 9 businesses closed last year, and it could have been that the parking meters played a role. And I've heard people I've heard business owners, they can come up to me and saying how the parking meter's been an issue. So I believe, and I've heard also from another, other business owners where they're saying that there's vehicles that park in front of the businesses overnight, and where the parking meters, could just be adjusted. So I'm proposing that we change the parking meters to about an hour for free instead of 5 minutes. So that way we give people the opportunity to shop. And also, is my time up? So I'd like to address it another time. Thank you all. But I'll make sure I address it later on. Thanks.
What kind?
Yeah, we apologize. We had a bad batch of batteries, so all of them are acting up. So we're changing them. So you can ask the question.
Okay.
We need to say it loud.
What kind of businesses would you want to grow in the city of Hamtramck?
Especially all kind of business. Is anybody coming willing to open a business place? I like to be, not like groceries or other stuff. We pay enough of those things. And not like medical marijuana store. But any kind of business which will create more jobs for the community people. People doesn't drive that much far, get everything surrounding. It's not specific. I support all those jobs, whoever coming to make more people for work environment, safer city, and we can collect the taxes also. Thank you.
Give me an easy one.
Let me see. If the mic turns on, you might not even get a question. So. Okay. So some council members are very outspoken, while some might hardly say anything. What kind of council member do you think you want to become for the community here?
Somebody who's
Just for the
different
mayor.
word.
No, not for the mayor. Council.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the next council question.
We'll come to that.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Some council members are very outspoken, some hardly say anything. What kind of council member would you like to become for this community?
One that's strong, positive, outgoing, professional, respectful, and I'm going to listen to the residents. That's the kind of council person that I would like to be or will be if elected. Thank you.
Is it my turn or can I just give?
Yeah, I have a mayor one.
Oh, okay.
How involved should the mayor and city council be in decisions that are normally made by the city manager, as long as they follow the policy set by the council?
That's an easy question. It's a good question because you can't say less. That kind of limits the job. But the right answer is it needs to work together. When I say it, I mean everyone. What is the volume low? Is it okay? Not just the city council, the city mayor, the city manager. I think the entire community needs to have a say in what happens in the community. And I think as the leadership team, whether you want to call it mayor, city council, or whomever, as any leader of any community, it's very important to hear the resident, get their input, and work together. As far as getting involved with the city manager, I think everyone should work together. It's not a matter of who has a say in it. Those are already documented in the city charter, but everyone needs to work together.
What is the primary change in city governance that you would want to change from day one?
Repeat the question.
What would be the primary change in city governance that you would want to change from day one?
I see the city government not involved with the communities. Lot of regulations, lot of rules they are making without asking the communities. Sometimes it is going against the interest of the community people. So I want to make sure every major decision making should be a town hall meeting before taking that decision. So that change I want to bring from my first day. Thank you.
Okay, the next question. Should the mayor have a special expense account for participation in events outside the city limits promoting our city, establishing relationships, and seeking funding city projects?
It should be, because as I say, this is a big commitment. As our mayor sometimes is a full-time, part-time job with full-time commitment. So it's not a bad idea to have a separate budgeting for mayor to be spent for different occasions.
So given that, those were the first round of general questions we had. What we're going to do is we're going to try to accommodate some of the questions asked by the community members here. Before we jump into that, I'd like to mention that we won't be able to ask every single question that was submitted. And I'd just like you to understand that in this from a fairness perspective, first of all, we're considering the ones we can read. So that really kind of matters. If we can't read the questions, we can't really ask. Outside of that, we're going to look for questions that actually address the topic at hand. We're not looking for personal attacks or anything like that. We're looking to see if we can ask questions that can show their qualification for the position that they're actually running for. Does that make sense? If you still have more questions, you can send them through this way. We'll try to do our best to get through with it. As soon as you can ask the first question.
What is your understanding of the role of the position you are seeking?
My understanding of the role that I'm seeking is Hamtramck City Council person, that the primary responsibility, again, is budgeting, the fiscal responsibility. We're also according to charter, I forget the exact term, but we're responsible for the property of the city of Hamtramck, making sure that, that the property is well taken care of, that expenditures are according to budget. I want to point out that regarding the finances, the most important thing that the city faces is 25% of our budget, approximately 25% is going to an unfunded pension obligation. So 1 out of every 4 of your tax dollars is going to unfunded pension obligations. It's going to be going, and that'll be true for the next 15 years. So the city council, that's a burden that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to make sure that our services are done as efficient as possible until that's paid off. Thank you.
This question is to ask, what have you done in the last 4 years to serve the residents of Hamtramck?
What was the question again?
What have you done in the last 4 years to serve the residents of Hamtramck?
Okay, currently I'm in the Hamtramck Housing Commissioner since 2022. So that's 3 years. And I work closely with the mayor, city council, city manager to address the residents' problems, including services, complaints. And sometimes I get complaints by residents, whether they get tickets from the building department, tax department, or the police department. And also I am parent advisory committee for Connect Liberty School. Also, I submitted one of the concerns to the city manager about getting a walk-in light for our school, and we're still working on that. First, we have cooperative, but then we have been rejected by it. But on the next city council meeting, I will submit that again, and I will make sure that the Hamtramck Connect Liberty School residents and students, walk to their school safe and make sure not to get hurt by a car or truck. And there is many others I have served the community for. As I was former Secretary General of the YTAC and the American TAC, and we address a lot of problems. We have meetings with the mayor and the city council. Thank you.
Before the next question, don't mind if I do cut you off. I do apologize ahead in advance, but I'm just trying to keep things moving. Thank you so much.
What legacy do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for someone that made Hamtramck a better city for everybody. My goals is to improve the roads and alleys, correct the sewer system that should have been corrected years and years ago. I want to be remembered for someone that beautified the city, that put nice street lights, not just on the main downtown Joseph Campo, but throughout the main streets such as Holbrook, Kenneth. Maybe plant flowers on areas where it needs to be. Just someone that made Hamtramck better for everyone. Also, who made it easier on residents in terms of possibly lowering the water bills and property taxes. I will do my best to leave with a good legacy to be remembered.
What do you know about the city's master plan? How familiar are you with it?
I do know the city master plan, especially infrastructure is really bad. Our water department is like almost 100 years old. If we can fix those things, water department, water sewer lines, we can save these houses from the sewer backup in the rainy times. It is very important. Almost each and every house affected if you were long rains or like 3-inch rains, it will be affect our community and affect our business. And we lost a lot of revenue. Couple business left from the different families. So if we can get something else back to our especially jail, Hamtramck jail, we can improve our taxes and we can serve the community better.
Before we go to the next question, I would recommend for the candidates to address the people and look toward their direction as you're giving the answers.
What is your vision for Hamtramck?
I got another easy question. Thank you. My vision is very simple. Unity. I want everyone to have a voice. One of the other candidates mentioned how the people are somewhat divided. A lot of times, it's not divided by force saying, hey, you can't be here, but it's by our actions. It's by how we listen to them. When they come to us and express their dissatisfaction and their concerns, do we listen to them? The answer is not as well as we could. So my short answer is I want everyone to have a voice. I want to listen to everyone, and I want to express their concern through my voice. So that's my big plan for the city. Make sure everyone gets treated equally and everyone's needs are met.
What should be the legal accountability of council members for their actions or inactions that go against code of conduct, for example?
Can you please repeat that question?
What should be the legal accountability of council members for their actions or inactions?
Well, depending on the situation, I think that they should recuse themselves from council. If you cannot uphold that position, then you shouldn't be allowed to conduct business on council and be asked to take a leave of absence until, the investigation is complete, depending on what was the issue or situation, and then be allowed to come back. Perhaps, again, depending on what the situation was, do community service. Everyone makes mistakes. No one is perfect. And sometimes things are not intentional. So, we learn by those mistakes, but we do have to be held accountable. And I think leading council for a period of time to figure out, how to solve that issue and then maybe community service. Thank you.
Do you support increasing income tax, such as a graduated income tax on the ultra-rich to increase funding for K through 12 schools in Michigan?
Tax is essential for a city government to run the city, but the people in this city most of them are not rich, and everybody I heard is against raising tax. So I think it would be a vote from community people, either should be a tax or no tax.
How would electing you help to rectify the current crisis of government in Hamtramck?
Well, I don't see the crisis. I see those are the misunderstanding. And misunderstanding can be happens many ways. And there are always room for correction and improvement. And this is what we're working for. That's my answer.
What will you do to recognize the many volunteers that give their time to improve our city?
Well, I think that's one thing that the city council has done well, is that they have recognized them at meetings. However, I would take it one step further and actually explain why people are being commended at the meeting. So I think recognize them at a meeting and saying specifically what that person did would be great. We've given a number of commendations to people who don't even know who they are. A number of people don't even live in the city, and they're completely unknown why a person is getting commendation. And that I think we should stop. The first thing we should do, recognize them at a city council meeting. Another thing to do is thank them in person. Can show up at the cleaning events, shake their hand, thank them for coming and participate. There's nothing more, no better way to thank somebody than to get to get your hands dirty and work next to them. So go to the meetings, go to the events, thank them in person, thank them publicly. Maybe yes. So thank you.
So one thing is that for clapping, let's do it for everybody if we're going to do it, right? Just to keep it fair. But I do appreciate the support that you guys have in the crowd. It's great. We're going to hold off on asking the mayoral candidates any more questions for right now because you'll have your segment towards the end. So the rest of it will be for the city council. I have one question that I think will be relevant for all of you to kind of address and help us out. So maybe you can speak to it. We can tell that everyone here is very busy and your commitment level is there. It was a question I asked you earlier about what you have done the last 4 years. It's going to be a question for all the candidates that are running for council. It's a two-part question, and you can all take turns answering this. The first is what I've asked already, which is that what have you done for the last 4 years for the city of Hamtramck? And we'd like to hear detailed answer, meaning like actual things that were accomplished. And the second part of it is, given that you have such a busy schedule, how do you see yourself creating time to devote for the city? How much time is there really to be devoted from your end personally towards the work for the city of Hamtramck? I know you already asked the first one. If you'd like to go again, you can. But we can start with Joseph and just go all the way down because this question will address everybody.
So what have I done for the last 4 years? So I moved back to Hamtramck about 3 years ago, so I can only go back 3 years. Yeah, one thing I've done is I clean my street every day. I've cleaned Jacob, Gallagher, and Joseph Campo. I estimate I've done over 500 hours in the last year alone, and I've picked up easily 500 lawn bags of garbage a year. So that's something that I do every day, often twice a day. So it's sometimes between 1 and 2 hours a day that I'm out on the street talking to people working. So that's one thing I've done. Another, I volunteer where I can. So I've tried to help the Every Neighbor program when I can. So cutting lawns, cleaning brush out of alleys for people. And okay, I guess it's 1 minute each, or each per question.
1 minute each, yes.
Okay, and yeah, so it's every day, and then I volunteer where I can. I've been helping a number of neighbors, and so that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years as every day. Okay. Next.
Next question.
Okay, next. So how do I create time to devote to the city? So I'm currently retired. as many of you will find out, when you retire, you're actually busier than ever. But I will adjust my schedule. I would hope that I would have frequent hours at Hamtramck City Hall. I'd have to adjust my schedule, probably a couple hours a day that I would hope to be committed to the city and promoting the city.
Okay, to the first part of the question, you know, what I've done in the last 3 years, I'm going to stick to what I said earlier. The second part, that I am a business owner and my time is flexible, so I'll be able to attend meeting, also study all the resolutions. And currently, I attend most of the city events and meetings, and whether it's early in the morning or midday or late evening, I'm always there. And most of the city officials and the residents know me, and they have met me in all these events, or most of it. That's it.
The question is two parts. The first part is about what you've done for the city of Hamtramck in the last 4 years. And the other part is, how do you plan to devote time to the city of Hamtramck, given everybody here has a busy schedule?
Thank you for your question. I'm thankful to people of Hamtramck. They trust me and they elected me the last 3 times as a councillor of the city of Hamtramck. And last 4 years, I was serving the community with best of my ability. Almost every single event, city event, I try to attend. Even yesterday, 12 o'clock, Hamtramck Historical Baseball Field had an event there. I came from work, journeyed there around 1 hour, and go back to my work. So as a councilman, people's representative, I believe so. To the people, for the people, and by the people, I believe those words, and this is the reason I try to attend every single event. And next, so what is the next part of the question?
How do you plan to devote your time for the city, given you're so everyone is busy?
When people elect me, I have a responsibility also. And I like to learn them, I like to talk to them, I like to hear from them. Even my neighborhood and my local business, I just throw an example. They have a grocery store in Kelly's, all her mine. Each and every single day, at least 5 times a week, 2 o'clock in the morning, is the last person from the Al mine. I was the shopper to talk to them and I go home from there. I tell you the front of the camera in front of the people, ask them how much I engage with them. These are one of those. And my community is most likely in Kannada and Besakapo. Every single business I do know what, I can go them, show them, see their voice, see their concern also, and I might make myself available for their time. Thank you.
So for the past 4 years, I volunteer when I can in different types of activities, whether it's cleanup, or I've also helped volunteer on campaigns from previous elections or for candidates. I am also a moderator for a local Facebook group. I'm sure you've heard of it. I love Hamtramck and actually live here. And many residents know me that I share quite a bit of information every day, whether it's something from the city itself, job postings, rental listings, general questions, help with something. At least every day a resident contacts me offline and says, hey, I've got a problem, do you think you could help me, or can you help me find a solution? So I consider myself as a community facilitator, and that's basically what I do. It's a community facilitator, volunteer, I have the time, I'm a housewife at home, but I will make the time for anything and everyone. And I just like helping people. So if I see in another group a resident or a member asking a question and I have that answer because of prior experience, I will contact that resident and say, hey, I think I might be able to help you. This is why. This is where I have the past experience. So maybe I can help you. And that's what I've been doing for the past 4 years. just helping out residents that seek out, reach out to me, and I have the time to do so. Thank you.
All right. The last 4 years, beside my work with nonprofit, I've been working as a chairman of Hamtramck Board of Review. I'm a member of Commissioner of Beautification Commission and as a member of Hamtramck Citizens Patrol, as well as engaged with a lot of socio-cultural organization in Hamtramck and its surrounding area. It is my passion to work for my community, and I find some time to work for my community, to support them, connect them to the resources. Last 4 years especially, I connected a lot of people with some resources, almost 200 families I provided through some organizations, heating and cooling program for energy efficiency assistance program. I connected a lot of people for fixing their roofs, their windows, their doors, and currently I'm working to bring a program to the city of Hamtramck, which is home ownership assistance. So I'm busy with the community work, and I'll continue my work for the Hamtramck residents. Thank you.
I have a question, and anyone can feel free to answer. And in terms of, and yeah, more than one person can feel free to answer that in terms of the approach. If someone has a complaint and they come to you about it, whether it's regarding any business, school, or religious institution, what would be your approach to handling that?
That's a hard question. I wish I didn't take the mic. It really depends on the type of questions, right, concerns. If it's against a religious institution, the religious institutions are protected differently than the rest of the community. We don't treat a mosque the same way we treat a library. Number one is we need to hear them out. We need to make sure they feel that they were heard. And then we can get to the bottom of their concerns. It's almost never about what they're complaining about. We have to work with them, again, listen to them and understand what their actual concern is and try our best to address the issue, especially legally. A lot of people have different opinions, and we can't always react to people's opinions. So first thing we gotta see is what the complaint is and if it's a legal one. If someone comes and says, I don't want a black neighbor, that's not something I can fix, right? But at the same time, we still gotta try to figure out where the root of the problem. Maybe they're saying, I don't like this neighbor because of certain things that they do. Maybe they're leaving their garbage on the sidewalk. You know, that's different concern. That's not a racist concern, that's a concern with their neighbor. So, number one, hear them out. Number two, see what you can do legally to solve the problem.
Does anyone else want to answer this?
Thank you. It's a great question, and we get a lot of complaints similar to this. But first of all, as Mr. Khan said, you need to find the purpose of the complaint. Complaint can come from different aspects, but we need to first find out what they complain about it and find the solution if they can do it. If not, you communicate with the city, you communicate with the department head, inform them this is what's going on, and evaluate the issues. First of all, if I'm in council, I communicate with my city manager because, it's a manager of the city, manager around the city. So inform him, let him get his concern, and let him communicate with his department or whatnot and fix it. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? No. Can you repeat the question? Yes, please. Also, the question was, if someone complains about any business or school or a religious institution, what would be your approach to handling that?
I've done that before. I've went in front of city council because I have businesses and properties here in Hamtramck. So I've been in that situation where I've asked questions to city council, but that was years ago, and where I wasn't heard. So I will make sure that I listen to any question. and I will treat it fairly, and I will look at everything fairly regardless of your religion, color, or your background. Because we're in Hamtramck here together. We're neighbors, we should look at that first, because what unites us is more than what divides us as residents. And I will treat every situation equally, and I make sure that everything's addressed.
Thank you. I'm very familiar with these situations. Almost every week I face those things. I'm telling from my experience, I like to speak to them, find the root cause of the complaints. Even they said the pair of calls is too loud. Chicken store is too stinky. I just saw some example. Trash can is there. Some people put the trash can to save the parking spot. So complaints are in various roads. So I see where the main complaint coming from. If something they fix, we try our best. Otherwise, which department goes to, I'm going to put those department ones, especially city manager. Sometimes you're going to enter the city manager and most of the handle it properly. When some people come to complaints, the city council always ourselves and never we indicate them to the city manager and we solve this problem there. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to address? Go ahead.
I think the best way to address any kind of a problem or concern is just to sit down with that person. It's quick to send an email, it's quick to send a voicemail, but depending on what the situation is with the problem, I think just sitting down and listening to the other side and what's the explanation, and then together coming with, come with a solution, come with an answer. And if we need to get that appropriate department head involved, then we do so. If it involves the school, then get involved and go to a school board. If it deals with code enforcement, then you go to that specific department. If it deals with a church, and here's an example. I've seen it. Residents complain that the call to prayer is too loud. So they come online, social media, they complain. Instead of perhaps going to that mosque and just asking, is it possible to turn down the volume, or is there something technically wrong, with the volume button? I'm pretty sure that the mosque itself would be willing to listen and come to a resolution instead of coming onto social media and complaining. So we sit face to face, respectfully. I think that's the best way to solve any kind of problem.
Does anyone else want to answer that question?
Is this optional or?
It's optional.
Okay, so I would say I agree with Diane. After we receive a complaint, we should find out where the solution is and move to the perfect department and not to ignore or not take it seriously. I see a lot of issues in City Hall is ignored, and another goal is to bring transparency in City Hall also.
I think you want to answer.
Yeah, if I hear a complaint, I'll make sure I listen to whoever made the complaint, and I will see if I can reach to the other party, and I will see if this can be solved. If it's like in the city levels, we can reach out to the spatial department or reach out to the city officials. If it's about the city's level, I can get some community leaders involved and organizations, and we will raise that issue if there is a problem. But if it turned out that this complaint is not serious or just complaint based on profile or racial or this, I don't think I should pay attention to it, and I will tell whoever made that complaint that I don't think this is a complaint you should or an issue that you should raise, and you should reconsider making a complaint like this as well. Thank you.
This is, go ahead. It's on, sorry.
Okay. I would say,
It's on.
it's on, okay. I would say, of course, another thing, it depends on the complaint. You have to listen to the person. You have to have a lot of experience and know how to respond. But I would say, one thing that I would like to point out is I don't claim to be able to solve every complaint. But what I believe that I have done, and I can demonstrate, is if it's something that I can't do, I find somebody who can solve it. So there is one example, for example, at one time, a very good friend of mine, she, elderly woman, was sexually assaulted. And I was unable to respond. It was something I wasn't trained for. It would be difficult for me to do. But I found somebody that she could go to and to help that person. So I have a long history of resolving complaints, of listening to people, but I also know that I'm not able to resolve everything by myself. That I need community members, and I need people that are willing to help. And I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to pass the baton on someone who can actually solve the problem if I feel that I'm not able to. So, thank you.
The next question that's going to be optional to answer is just for the city council candidates, or in terms of the not-middle candidates. The question is, what current ordinance would you work on changing and why? What current ordinance would you work on changing and why?
I have the mic. Okay, I would say.
Here, I think it's on.
Is it on?
This one's good.
Okay. Good.
Here you go.
Okay. Oh, it's working again. So I believe one that I'm able to do is the code enforcement. So I have a long history of working in rules and regulations, rewriting rules and regulations, and I understand that there's a lot of issues with code enforcement. So it's something I would like to look at, and I would like to work with the inspectors. It's something that I had done for 10, 15 years. I know how to resolve some of these issues. I have a strong background in administrative law. So I think I would like to not only review the code enforcement, but I'd like to work with the inspectors to make sure that it's done fairly and evenly.
Anyone else?
Yes. I will work on ordinance that force departments manager and employees to treat citizens equally and fairly, because I know some of the residents who goes to some departments, they be mistreated. Some of the employees will think because they don't understand good English, they don't know their rights, so they be mistreated, and some of them will get a double charge, or whether it's your account is balance zero, you end up in another bill or letter to asking you for making a payments, which is not fair. And then when you go there to that, I face this problem myself, and some of the residents that came up to me. And I also went to these departments and I talked to the city manager as well. So these things should be the main things, because when a citizen comes to a city hall and to go to departments, and we want to make sure that resident be treated equally and fairly, and not just be mistreated because he is an immigrant or he's a new person who just came to the country or to the city, and we just gonna mistreat him and he don't know how to act or complain. Thank you.
I think Diane was next.
So I don't think you can choose one ordinance over another, because ordinances exist for a reason that provides structure in the city and also the general image of the city. What I would address is how those ordinances are enforced if you are in the wrong. We have so many different cultures and so many languages spoken, so I think our code enforcement needs a little bit more training in how they approach that resident and try to fix that problem. Because what I hear sometimes is a biased discrimination. And maybe they're in a situation, that particular resident, that can't fix that problem, or the address is wrong, it's someone else's address, but you get the code infraction. So ordinances exist, but it's way that it's enforced, and that's where I would start with fixing that first, making sure that it's fair and just for the residents.
Anyone else?
Yes. So we should not think of changing any ordinance until it's a problem. If our ordinance are working fine, we should not change it. But like other speakers said, the code enforcement, we should not change the ordinance, but we can modify it, we can train the code enforcement department. They should cooperate the residents, not just punish and ticket. They should teach them how to follow the rules and regulations and give the warning. So we should work on, we can work on that. Thank you.
Yes, I like to inform the code enforcement issue. Our code enforcement people need to be more trained. Sometimes we learn complaints coming from one house is much cleaner, other house is not that much clean, grass is too more than 6 inches long. So that time people thought it is discrimination. I hope it is not a discrimination. Courts need to be clearly monitor those things. And sometimes the people complain. I had a couple complaints too. People are going to give the ticket. So it should be the warning first, and then it doesn't fix. Then it should be the ticket. Those minor things need to be fixed. And I'll talk a little bit more later.
Yeah, I just want to add something currently. I don't think our code enforcement department are bad people. That's a tough job. Our city is big. There's many houses, many properties, many businesses to go look at. What I have an issue with is that if someone near me has the same amount of weeds growing in the alley and I get the ticket and they don't, that's not fair. So I think that our code enforcement department needs a little bit more training in fairness when they're going around and giving out the code enforcement violation. Make it fair. Thank you.
So the next question again is for the council candidates. Anyone can feel free to answer it. There are a lot of complaints going on about election fraud. Do you think it exists? And if so, what do you think needs to be done about it? Thank you. I'm just asking the questions. Thank you.
Okay. Can you repeat that question, please?
There are a lot of complaints about election fraud. Question 1, do you think it exists? Question 2, if you do think it exists, what should be done about it?
There's no doubt that it exists. We're not the only city allegedly. There are other communities in other cities and in other states. It exists for a reason, and that is because of favoritism. They want that best person, they think it's for the job, regardless if that person has the qualifications or not. But if it does happen, then I don't think that person should no longer be city council member, or even, if it pertains to the mayor, step down and resign and do the right thing. Thank you.
By the way, this is the final general question to answer, so if you do want to share something, this is your time back.
Okay. I think there's a voter fraud exists, and we should be aware of it. Someone had to come up and teach the people how to do the right way, do the vote. And city has to take some action to provide information for proper voting, especially the absentee ballot. We hear a lot of news about it, and it's bad for our city and city reputation. So I personally would start educating people how to vote correctly and not being a victim of wrongdoing. Thank you.
Anyone, before you go, anyone else? Go ahead. Yes,
Okay. I can't really tell if it exists or not because I haven't seen any evidence or any proof of any party is doing it. You know. But what I will do, I will advise the residents not to give their ballot to someone to like fill it out and return it for them. Make sure you fill out your own ballot and you take it to the city council, whether you take it to the clerk or you drop it off out of the box outside the city. And I think the job should be done to, by the city clerk and the Wayne County Department of Election and, also the government, whether it's the FBI or any agency that should get involved to watch if there is any, election abuse or fraud. But again, until now, we haven't seen any proof or evidence of anyone is doing it. And this is, I feel like it's an issue that's raised around election, and then it will be buried again until we have another event, and then we'll raise it up. And that's it. Thank you.
The first part was, do you think there's complaints about election fraud happening in the city? Question 1, do you think it exists? Question 2, if you do think it exists, what is your approach for handling that?
Thank you. It's a really great question and timely question you're asking. I believe that nothing exists. If it exists something, it should be proven there. Nothing exists and it is not proven, and I don't believe so, the election fraud happening there. I just remind you, last election, presidential election, not last election, last election of the Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. When the absentee ballots come in, our current President Joe Biden and Donald Trump, he tried to say all those absentee ballots is not existing in the election fraud. So the people in the surrounding, they thought those are the fraud also. Before our Mayor Garib, before he became elected, our former Mayor Karen Mayaski, she was there. I saw so many, I've not put somebody in the spot, so many absentee ballots came from such a different place in the city and other cities too. Those questions never been existed. Now, some part of people, they put the voter fraud is existing. I don't believe so, and everything, if something exists, it has to be get proof, then we can believe it is existing. And I put Hamtramck first. That means the people of Hamtramck, I need to listen to them, I need to get their idea, get their thoughts, and share with their thoughts on my activities and my city business. Thank you very much for listening to me.
I just want to add that Hamtramck is an immigrant city. We have a lot of new residents that come into our community. And it's important to understand what our laws are, because what takes place in their country is not going to be the same thing here in the United States. We are a nation of democracy. And no one, if you are eligible to vote, should be harassed or forced to vote for someone that they don't want to. You should have the freedom of vote. And I think that when a new resident comes into the community, I guess a committee sits down with them and makes them aware of what the voting process is. And that when it's time to vote, they are able to vote who they think is the best person for that position. Thank you.
Well, I would say, I believe that yes, it exists. I base that on the fact that the Attorney General's office recommended a case to Monroe County prosecutors, and clearly the Attorney General also feels it exists. So I believe, yes, it exists. So what do we do about it? I think we need to have higher scrutiny about our elections. Perhaps we should ask the Michigan Department of Secretary of State to closely monitor our elections, and maybe have some more monitors come to town. And I think that the City Council would say, let's just say hypothetically, it was proven that 2 people cheated, or 4, or maybe perhaps 2 people actually don't even live in the city, and they're claiming that they do. If it's found out that they're fraudulent holding an office, and that they fraudulently were elected to an office, and say hypothetically those people involved the city in a lawsuit that cost us millions of dollars, I would explore us going back to that candidate who fraudulently took the office, held the office knowing that they cheated, held the office knowing that they don't live here, and I would explore the city of Hamtramck going down for indemnification for any lawsuit that they involved us in.
Yeah, that was for city council, yes. This next one, I'm gonna allow the mayoral candidate to also answer. It'd be good, I think, if everyone give an answer for this one. We're looking for an answer that's succinct and to the point. So, in your opinion, regardless of whether you're running for city council or mayor, what should be the minimum requirements for someone to be an elected official? And I'm going to give you some categories to consider. So when we say minimum requirements, we're discussing a few things. One, their actual place of residence. Two, their education, meaning their educational background, but not only that, their investment within the current educational society in Hamtramck. Meaning if you believe in Hamtramck, are your children in Hamtramck? Are you in Hamtramck? Does that make sense? Third question is about taxes. Their financial background, is it clean? How clean should it be? What should be considered? So I'm giving you 3 parameters to consider. Finances, residence, and education, if you want to wrap it around your mind. You can take the time to think about it. You'll be given 2 minutes each. And it's open, it's not obligatory, it's optional for anyone to answer. But again, what should be the minimum qualifications in these parameters for an elected official? Thank you.
I'll go first. You actually pointed out quite a few options. Are you limited those to 3?
No. You can add others as you like.
Okay. Anyone who serves in a public office, I think their minimum qualification should be to understand the people they're talking to and the people they represent. They need to be able to relate with the people. Education-wise, I want to say whatever is legal minimum requirement. I don't want to make up the arbitrary number. So if they meet the minimum requirement, that's okay. Residency. I don't want to get into details because it will identify people, but I had an interesting conversation with someone, and I told them a residency should only be required as far as legally, if they're legally resident. And then I was told, if the people don't live in the city, then how can the people from the city find them? How are they representing the city if they don't live in the city? Their investment in the education, I think if they're going to be in the city holding a public office, their children should go to public school also. My son just graduated from 8th grade, and I went to Hamtramck High School. I've been here for 27 years. My kids, born here, raised here, went to school here. In case someone's wondering what my qualifications are. Also, their ability to solve problems, because that's the main point. People have problems, we're expected to solve it. And can I go a couple more seconds?
A few seconds, go ahead.
I don't want to get into too much details, but in addition to my college degree and job experience, I also have a training certificate in problem solving, specifically reactive problem solving, which qualifies me to solve any problem in the world. It's a certificate I have, not my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to answer next?
If you're going to run for a public office, you should truly live in the city.
You can pass this. There's no number.
Again, if you're going to run for a public office, then you truly need to live in the city, because how else can you represent the community if you don't live here? What I mean by residency, you live in your place, you eat your meals, you take your showers, you sleep in your bed, you have your family there, you watch TV, you pay your taxes, your mortgage has your address, or you're a renter, your insurance. There should be those requirements as a resident. And if you are a family, you have children, then you should attend the schools in Hamtramck. What's wrong with the schools in Hamtramck? There's nothing wrong. Now, obviously, you could go anywhere else for college, but there is nothing wrong with our public school systems here in Hamtramck. I think our teachers are great, and I think the kids are getting a very great education. And if you want more, then go to school, go to the school board and get involved. And I'm sorry, what was the one more thing? There was
Finances, financial background, taxes, record of finances, their own independent finances.
I think so. I stated I had a Bachelor of Arts in English. That means I can write pretty well, okay? But I have 30 plus years of work experience that I think will give me the background that I need to solve problems and most of all, connect with the community. I may not have a degree in political science. President Ronald Reagan was actually an actor and he became president. And I don't think that you need to have such a strict political background, a degree, and work in a political office to run for a civic position. I think it's a combination of your background, where you live specifically, you know, and the financial and educational aspects, and again, just a willingness to connect with the community, and that should be enough.
Go ahead. That is one of. This is something that actually does need to be corrected and implemented in the city. Residency is very important. How else would you care about Hamtramck if you don't live in it? And there should be ways to check, not just the driver's license, because anybody can get a driver's license from the airport. So one of them would be income tax. Where do you pay your income tax? Where do your children go to school? Is it in Hamtramck, or at least around Hamtramck? So those are things that need to be checked before accepting an application as a candidate. Also, education-wise, I'm not sure, like maybe at least at least a high school diploma, and maybe a test to be able to see if you can read and write, because how else? Like, I mean, if we present resolutions, how else would you understand whether to vote yes or no on it, you know? Other thing is obligations. Nobody has mentioned that. What I was told is you can't owe obligations to the city. And I went through hoops to make sure, as someone that owns businesses in Hamtramck and houses, I had to go through a lot to make sure I owe nothing to the city. Yet, I understood that there were some people in council, not to attack them, but to attack the system, where they were accepted with obligations. So there's things that needs to be corrected, and I'll make sure that it does get corrected.
You go first. Go first.
Thank you to asking this question. I'm Councilor Musa. I had some allegation coming against me. I just want to clear up in front of you. And actually, I had a chance to prove myself, and I did it. Since 2011 to 2024, my W2, my home state, everything in Hamtramck. My license, my insurance, and everything in Hamtramck. Somehow, I just let you know, mayor is there. I bring the proof, all those proof to them. Look at this. Some of those private investigators, he said, my BMW car and on my Toyota car is registered, insured. I have a couple property in the Warren and Royal Oak also. So one of those two registered in Warren. And I showed him, he is right there, I can read from my car also. From 2015 to until now, all those cars, insurance and registration is 1144 Mitchell. How much? I don't know what is the investigation does, how poorly he does, and all those documented evidence in front of me there. And I was running for this city council third term, and I'm seeking the fourth time. So never ever those questions raised to me. Now, somehow somebody targeted me and bring this question. And I bring the channel, look at this all the proof. I show them the mayor and I give it to city attorney also. City attorney, he can have the sound of those council meetings. He said, Councilor, you show me before, I trust you. And I'm telling you for those things, I bring all the evidence and everything to prove it myself. I'm here, I'm city of Hamtramck. Thank you.
Before the next answer, I just want to remind everybody that this is not a specific question. There's two things to this. One, the question is optional, which means you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Specific questions will be asked the mayors, and that will be directly to the mayoral candidates. Those are different. You'll be addressed when you say, I will not answer whatever the answer is. These are open to answer or not to answer. Secondly, this has been a complaint that's been brought up in person, online, in every sphere. So we're not looking to target anybody. I hope that's not understood that way. I just want to make that as a clarification. Go ahead.
Okay. First, you have to live in the city long enough. And if you live in the city long enough, you will understand the citizens and their needs. Also, if you are a business owner, I recommend that you invest some of it, at least, in the city of Hamtramck. And most importantly is that you have some good relationships with citizens, community leaders, and organizations. Thank you.
Joseph is on the mayoral candidates.
Let's say, well, the one requirement that I believe in is residency. It's in the charter. You need to be a resident for 1 year. Right? After that, I think it's up to the electorate. So I believe in democracy. I believe that the people have a say. I don't think that we should put anything necessarily in the charter saying you need a certain education requirement. Some of the smartest people I know have no formal education. I know a man who taught himself to read. One of the smartest guys I've ever known. He never went to school, but he taught himself to read. I don't think I could do that. So there are people that have no education who are brilliant. With finances, I believe that, I mean, it depends. I like the idea that you're not indebted to the city of Hamtramck, Wayne County, but then I also have a concern about that. How much is the debt? Is it $1 or $100,000? That's why candidates for office much higher do financial disclosure. People can look at the tax records. It's something that we could explore, but really, it's up to you, the people. You're here. You need to know the candidates. You need to know us. You need to trust us. You need to tell your neighbors. If you don't, you get what you vote for, right? So, thank you.
You guys passed on.
Me? Thank you. Well, as Joe said, charter doesn't dictate what the qualification needed to be. So I don't think we should clarify anything here. We can't, even if we try to, because this is mandated by the charter what qualification people needed to be run for office. Secondly, I don't think that the educational background, but at least basic knowledge to read, write, that's most important. You know how to read and how to write in the culture that you're establishing and you're trying to preserve and how you're going to work. The most importantly, what I think is to be a public service background. It can be a novel writer, but if you don't like public, if you don't like to deal with people, then it's not for you. You need to be passionate to listen to people, understand people, go through all those hard time and hard work that you go through. That's not easy. If you just feel like you're going to run for office, then 6 months, a year later, I'm not meaning to anyone, but you decide, oh, that's not for me. I'm going to take it off. That's not how it's public service to be. You think first that this is for me or not, then you sign up for it. This is a dedication. This is a hard work, believe me. It's not an easy job here. Thank you.
Again, we can reserve a class for everybody, not just one person. I appreciate that. Does anyone else want to answer that question? If not, yeah, now we're going to go to the mayoral candidate questions, particularly. So the questions will be for you guys. There'll be, some of them are direct, some of them are general. So we'll start with the general question first and kind of go from there. The first question is, what will you do to support small businesses in Hamtramck? Do you have plans to attract new investments and jobs to the city? If so, please expound. Thank you. You have it on the notes.
We'll keep the microphone. We'll make it easier. Can I go first? No, go ahead. Well, a small business is a backbone of the community, and this is very important. And it's always it is a mission to bring more business to the city. It's only how we can grow the city, we can establish the city, and maybe you can take the burden off from the tax that we always been talking about. Because every state run by their own tax money. And if you don't grow the business, no matter how much promise, it's an empty promise, false promise you can make during the election, well, I'll reduce the tax, I'll reduce your water bill. There's no way you can do that. There's cities, every city lead by those funding. So what you need to do, we need to flourish our city, we need to establish our culture, we make the city safer to make an environment that people can come in, invest their money, open up the business. This is only how we can improve the city for sure. Thank you.
There's a couple of things that could be done. Number one, we covered it before. The parking situation is kind of rough. It basically destroyed the small businesses, especially on Joseph Congo. So that's something that needs to be addressed. And the other one is, where are people spending money? Where are people spending their time? We don't have people doing research on what is needed in the city. A lot of times, the primary business is not the main source of income. When you have a business that attracts other businesses, that's where the income comes from. That's where the money exchanges hands. When you have a facility that requires valet service, you have an additional business with the primary service. You have people who are preparing food, people who are organizing, people who are decorating. So we need to focus on a lot of these main businesses that attract secondary businesses. And that's how we need to promote our small businesses. So we need to do research, what are people looking for, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, where do I spend money? Where do I go? Where is a good stage place to go in Hamtramck? I don't go, when I go for a steak, I don't go to a place in Hamtramck. I go somewhere else, like Dearborn, right? So we need to identify where people are spending money and their time, and we need to redirect some of those businesses and give them incentive to establish in Hamtramck.
Okay, I wanted to go last on purpose, because I guess that's where I'm specialized. I own a business here in Hamtramck, and I've owned business here in Hamtramck for a long time. So I know what issues and obstacles and hardship the businesses can face, and how to promote the city to attract businesses into Hamtramck. One of the issues and obstacles is the parking meters, of course, for businesses on Joseph Campo, but also need code enforcement, and the application process to open a business should be a little bit more lenient. And then also to promote Hamtramck. When you promote Hamtramck, like I'm part of the DDA, we have a page called Discover Hamtramck, and it's something that we should utilize, the city, social media, and whatever avenues to promote Hamtramck and attract businesses. And also to attract businesses, we need to increase our population somewhat, and that's where we can permit building a third floor. And I'll look into it more in depth, but to see if property tax does not increase as much on whoever wants to increase, build up to a third floor. So that way we get larger population. With larger populations, we get not only income tax from that, but also support local businesses, and local businesses pay also income tax. And that way the city gains, and we can use that to flourish the city and make it better.
Second question, pretty straightforward, but if you want to expound, you can. Do you think you have any personal or professional relationship that could become a conflict of interest while you're serving a position?
Nope, not that I know of.
Maybe. Not while I'm serving, but had problem with the campaign. My wife is not allowed to campaign on my behalf because of the position she holds.
So repeat the question,
Do you
please.
think you have any personal or professional relationship that could become a conflict of interest while serving your position?
No, not at all. Thank you.
You can hold the mic. I'll ask the next question. From your perspective, what are the top 2 or 3 issues that Hamtramck needs to focus on right now that you would be focusing on? If you can explicitly mention what those are.
Well, first of all, we need to have our infrastructure that need to be improved. And as I say, always we have budgeting issue. So even if I say whole world, I'll giving whole world to the people of the community, that's not possible. So we need to have build a relationship to the state, to the federal, so we can get the grant money to fix our infrastructure. Secondly, I know that parking meter is a big issue. Other hand, there is other small things that happen with building parking meters. That people park overnight, they don't remove their car. They leave it there, the criminal comes and park their car anytime they want it to be. So there is so much do and don't, we have to think about it. It's easy to come and make a commitment, but you have to, clarify those things and put it to work. Sometimes become difficult, but not regardless. Whatever people need it to be, we need to have our meter to be removed or extend our time frame to parking, or maybe negotiate with business owners that can contribute a little bit more money to the city so we can have a free parking completely. Somehow we need to work out, and we'll do it. Definitely, and it's everything for people. Secondly, promote the culture, promote the city, bring the business to this Hamtramck. And we need the also most strongest one is the unity. We need to have a unity, one Hamtramck. We need to have brotherhood. The small city, and we can have division. We might have disagreement. Doesn't mean we can create a division among ourselves. So we need to have more friendly, work together. We may have different culture. Okay, I'm sorry. Time out.
Please reserve the class for everybody. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question?
I think that microphone goes to sleep mode.
The top 2 to 3 issues that you see needs to be addressed in Hamtramck.
There is many.
They're just the top 2 3.
I think code enforcement is one of the more popular ones. When Max was the city manager, I had a talk with him, and that was my first complaint. I think one of the things we need to do, which no one wants to talk about, is hold the city responsible for their actions. When the code enforcement is done incorrectly and the fine was paid, I think the city should pay the people back for not doing the city's part of doing the job right. Second one was the meter, and possibly you can talk about the city drainage issue, maybe water supplies. There's quite a few, but we need to plan better and allocate funds based on the need, and more importantly, what is safety related issues. Water supply takes higher priority than parking issues. So when it becomes a health issue, that should take higher priority, and we need to get some specialists to help us with some of this. None of us are qualified to do this job. We need to keep our citizens safe. Again, clean water, the drainage has a lot of problems. If it goes into your house, it has a lot of bacteria and diseases. So again, we need to get some help, professional help, get some advice and allocate proper amount of funding for prioritized issues.
Okay, so let's talk about real issues. The real issues with the city is our sewer system is 120 years old. Should have been replaced 60 years ago. Or at least replaced in phases, whereas each year something is being done for the sewer system. And also our streets and alleys, should we have handled it years and years ago, we would have been in a better shape now as a city with so many alleys and streets that needs to be fixed. Also, code enforcement. Initially, we had the code enforcement that was given to a contract. Of course, the contractor is going to try to get as much money as possible, find every resident, and try to get as much, especially with, I think the percentage was 70% for them and 30% or 25% for the city. So recently it's been turned over to the city, which is good. So we need to be a little bit lenient on residents, maybe with a warning, but if anything needs to be corrected, where houses need to look great and clean, then we should enforce that. Also, our systems, like we have outdated, not just ordinances, but also our systems, our websites, our payment systems. We don't have an income tax payment system. Those are things that need to be addressed and corrected. And finally, unity. I've been saying that throughout my campaign. We need to unite as Hamtramck residents. We shouldn't be, I understand there's maybe a language barrier, like where people feel comfortable, Yemenis to be Yemenis, and that's fine. That's why we're diverse and we should celebrate our the differences and diversity, but we should unite as Hamtramck communities. And I'll advocate and try to promote events and festivals where we get together as community, as Hamtramckans, not as Yemenis. I've been saying that. I'm not running as a Yemeni or a Muslim candidate. I'm running as a Hamtramckan, and I will make sure that we're all in here together, work together, and fix Hamtramck together for everyone.
Thank you. This next question is, I'm combining two questions together because they're short, so you can probably answer them together if you'd like. There have been a few comments, and I've seen multiple questions that came up about the same discussion of the water bill in Hamtramck, right? That's one thing. And one of the themes that the candidates are mentioning is unity. So the question is very simple. It's about the how. So first, if you think that something can be done about the water bills in Hamtramck, what can be done exactly? How? And the second is, in terms of unity, there are many different people from many different backgrounds. Hamtramck is known to be extremely diverse. What action plan would be taken to unify people? Thank you. Sorry they're so different, but.
Water bill. Now, how does the water bill work? How do we lower the water bill? Unfortunately, I don't foresee a way to lower the water bill. A lot of the allocated fund that we are spending money on, like Joe mentioned in the very beginning, we are already dedicated those funds. A lot of those has to come from the taxpayer, and part of that also comes from the water bill. We are replacing water line. The main water lines were chrome-plated, but those chrome plating went away. Then we had that lead exposure. We have a lot of main line that needs to be replaced. So as far as lowering the water bill, I honestly don't foresee how that's possible. The best we could do is make sure it doesn't go more up. I'll address the second question. How do we unite the community? That's what I've been saying from the beginning. We need to listen to everyone and we need to treat everyone the same. What happens is when we address our friends and they come and complain, we tend to pay a little bit more attention to our friends, but not people who don't recognize or people who doesn't talk to us. My personal approach would be treat everyone the same. Obviously, we have our friends group. When we have dinner, we'll go hang out with our friends. That's fine. But when it becomes an issue with the city and someone has a complaint, everyone needs to be treated equally. And that would be my commitment, is to make sure everyone gets treated equally. I think that is the best way to unite people, letting them know that every single person is a person.
Thank you, Shahan. So, as Mr. Khan said, water bill. I mean, we all can do is less water. I mean, what we can do is the whole house system and our water line system. So I think we need to check the water lines, not get no leakage or anything. I mean, being honest, it's very difficult to lower the water bill, and we buy water from Detroit. So there are multiple things attached to it. So it will be very difficult to lower the water bill. But make sure we need to work on it that we don't increase it anymore. You know, keep it at what it is now, or try to find ways we can do something maybe. But we can do some research regarding this. We can invest some time and money from the expert. What can we do? Making the unity. As an immigrant, I went through many things. As a strong accent when I talk. When I came to this country, I faced a lot of, struggle. So all those things going through in my personal life, I learned that we need to treat others equally. We need to treat others the way I wanted to be treated. And this is the only way we can make a friendship to the community. We can listen to others' opinion. Maybe I'm not able to fulfill everybody's opinion, everybody's wishes, but at least if you listen, if you're passionate, you make work it through, and then bring the harmony to the community, to friendship. I may get neglect from someone by saying hello to the street. It happens to me many times, still happening. I try to reach out to people. I'm a friendly guy. I try to talk to people. I like to get along with people. Sometimes I just say hello to people, and they just ignore you. They're not recognizing you, or I don't take it personally. Then I took it this way. Maybe that person not having a good time or not a good day. Let's call next time when I see them. I say hello again. So don't give up on your friendliness. That will bring the harmony and unity to the community.
Okay. I do not believe that anything is difficult or hard to change. I've been a CEO of businesses, and I've resolved hard and difficult problems. So saying that we can lower water bills, it's possible. A lot of the water bill, why it's high is because we have sewer projects and things like that. So we can look into that, and we can look into, like I said earlier, that we can get more businesses, increase our income tax, not increase the income tax percentage, but increase the income tax amount, where we get larger, get people to come into Hamtramck, live here, and also businesses to open here. That way our income tax revenue can be increased, and we can utilize some of that on water. Why? We can add funds to our water where it's not all obligated on the residents. Same thing with property tax. I've been working on ways to do that. I've been busy with a campaign, but I'll look into that further and find ways to make it easier and lower on residents. With diversity and unity, I've mentioned that earlier. I've been advocating for that throughout my campaign. And throughout my life, I've worked with diverse people. I've worked in different departments, different organizations. I've worked in nonprofit organizations, and with all kind of people. And what makes Hamtramck great is our diversity. We are the world in 2 square miles, and we celebrate that, and we are proud of that. And as mentioned, I will do whatever it takes to unite us and create events where we build bridges and unite. Thank you.
Can I share something? I'm going to actually give everyone a minute to speak right now. So if we can set the timer for 1 minute, we'll start from Joseph, and then we'll go all the way down. And everyone will have 1 minute as concluding remarks. So you can definitely share when we're going to go to it. So everyone gets one more chance to get their final thought. Yes, last comment before we conclude. So here, there you go. Thank you. It's already on.
Okay. Well, 1 minute. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I would say my final thought is what I'd like to talk more about, perhaps in the future, is our financial situation. Again, About 25% of the budget is going to an unfunded pension obligation, and that's going to continue for approximately 15 years due to all the current projections. So when 1 out of every 4 of your tax dollars is going to an unfunded obligation, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to do everything. So just as we go through the campaign, and for the next 15 years, we all have to realize we're in tough financial straits. We have to do things as efficiently as possible. We're going to have to work together. We're going to have to seek grants. But we're in a tough fiscal situation, and if the economy takes a downturn, we're looking again at possible receivership with the state of Michigan. So we have to be very careful going forward. And that's the issue that I'm most concerned about. But again, thank you all for coming. I look forward to talking more.
First, I want to thank the audience for coming tonight to this event. We appreciate your concerns, and I want to thank the committee and the organizers and the Hamtramck Public Library for hosting this event. And I want to talk about, unity, and we should become united. We should share each other's culture, and we should look out after each other. I have neighbors in my street who is not Yemeni or Muslims, and we always talk, we share things, we talk about cities issues, and also if they're not home and I didn't see their cars, I call them and make sure, they're not going to stay away from home for a while, so I can be looking out for their house. And they do the same thing with me. When we have a new baby born, they will congratulate us. We'll, keep each other's, notified, and we care about each other. And this is a good example, and I think everyone in the community should do the same. And we should attend each other's events and learn about each other's principles and come together. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming, and especially to those of you that stayed this long, at least though you got the soft chairs, we got the hard chairs. I just want you to consider when voting for someone, especially for the mayor position, that you vote for someone that's willing to serve, that's willing to put efforts into making Hamtramck better. I didn't all of a sudden just decided to run. I've been serving the public for so long, whether it's in nonprofit organizations, feeding the homeless, or other organizations such as Yemeni organizations, also organizations that serves everyone. And so I'm just continuing serving the public. And I have a goal, as mentioned earlier in my opening statement. My family lives here, my children will grow up here, and I have a business and property in Hamtramck. So I will care about the city, and I'll make sure that we are a better city, attracting everyone into Hamtramck. And again, thank you for coming.
Thank you, organizer, to arrange a very nice event. Thank you, my colleagues, all the candidates here. Thank you, the people who is here to come in to listen to us, especially very busy person, Imam Fakul Islam, all of my friends, especially our beloved mayor. You are watching us today. Last time you were on the same side to us taking the answer for the question. I go back to only one thing about the water bills. I hope everybody listen to these things. Water we buy from the district, and we do not make the money, we serve the community. But around 60 years old water wells, there are leaks there. In Bangladesh, there's a system loss. In here, water system loss. All the water going to service the other houses or residents, there are water goes where. So we have to pay for all those. We charge the community residents for all those water, whatever we get from the district. But we are not serving everything there, same place. Thank you guys. And if you see my postcard, first things I put no meters or modification. A lot of business get harmed for the parking meters. So my first initiatives and my first step to modify the meters or no meters. Make the business, especially Pesocom and other places, start better and community get much better service from there. Thank you very much to support me the last 3 times and urging your support. I'm running for Hamtramck City Council. I like to utilize my knowledge and experience for the community, for the people. Thank you very much to support me. Thank you.
All right, you guys heard a couple of comments about someone waking up and deciding to run. That would be me. I woke up one day and I decided I had enough of the politicians. I don't trust them anymore. And there was a lot of people who supported me and continue to support me and promote me. So yes, you guys all know about the politicians. I'm not here to badmouth anyone, so I'm just going to make a general statement on that one. In addition, I got a challenge for you guys. From the day I was born, today, to today, go through all the videos of me, all the audio recording of me, anything ever posted, any documentation, and get witnesses. If you guys can find even a single time where I lied, misled someone, or being dishonest, I will vote for the choice of your candidate and I will endorse them.
I take this election serious. I'm not running to make promises. I'm running to build partnerships and advocate for real progress and help create a community that works for all of us. I want to be part of a collective voice for every corner of Hamtramck, championing transparency, diversity, and a community-first approach. And finally, I believe we can find ways to honor everyone's humanity without disrespecting anyone's beliefs. Tolerance, not hate. The truth is, Hamtramck is stronger when we listen to one another, even when it's hard, and when we lead with compassion, not fear. Can we build a stronger community, one of unity, not division?
I'm a social worker. I am involved with the community, and I am a candidate because I want to get more resources for my community people. If I get elected, I will work with honesty, dignity, and with a teamwork. And together we can make a stronger Hamtramck and prosperous Hamtramck.
Thank you, first of all, thank you audience, thank you Hamtramck Library to give us the opportunity to introduce ourselves. If you truly want a beautiful and inclusive Hamtramck, we need a leadership that is experienced, committed, and deeply connected to the people. A leader who believes in people power, who will show up, listen, and put into work, and I'm that candidate. I'm humbly asked of your support, so together we can build an uplift our community and move Hamtramck forward, stronger and united for all. I'm thankful to all those community that voted for me previously, and I'm asking for your vote again. Thank you all again, and have a great night. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to spend all the time that you had, this evening. I know you had this schedule, and everybody else, all moderator. I can get it whatever. Moderators, chairman, committee, volunteers, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Before we immediately welcome all for the concluding remarks, I wanted to personally thank all the candidates for showing up. I know if it was me in that seat, I'd want to show up. And I wanted to share that because it takes a lot of courage to show up. They don't know what we're going to ask them. They don't know what order they sat in. The first round of questions were completely random. So it takes a lot of courage and it shows commitment to the cause, so we do appreciate that. And will definitely put yourself forward for that.
So before I conclude, Adnan, if you want to say a few words.
Thank you for all candidates for coming, and answer all the questions from residents. And thank you for all residents who's coming and ask these questions. And it's good to hear them from them. I think now you get a more idea who you got, because when you ask these questions, it's good, And thank you for Mayor for coming too. I appreciate it.
How about a round of applause for our candidates? And a round of applause for the participants and for submitting your questions. As we come to the end of tonight's forum, I want to once again thank all of the candidates for your time and thoughtful answers. Thank you everyone in the audience for being part of this important process. Democracy works when our community is informed, engaged, and empowered. Please remember to vote and encourage your friends, family, and neighbors to do the same. There are early voting in place. I don't know what, do anyone know when it starts?
Early July.
So please be mindful of the time, and if you are going on vacation or somewhere, if you are not going to be here, please cast your ballot early. Hamtramck allows you to go to the City Hall and then do your cast your vote. Once again, thank you very much. Thanks to our sponsors, our board, committee members, and everyone, and Public Library, Greg, everyone. Thank you all so much.
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks for thanking me.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Yeah, I see your work.
Thank you.